Hi, I'm Daphne Zuniga, and I've been active in the environmental community for a number of years. I recently met here in California an organization called CBE, Communities for a Better Environment. They work in the urban areas that suffer the most from pollution. Just minutes away from the beaches of Los Angeles are neighborhoods suffering serious illnesses. Many think this is their problem, but really it's something we all need to care about.
Yo, keep the style and the kids checking for it. The number one question is how could you ignore it? Well, I suppose that it gets to a point where feelings gotta get hurt and get dirty with the people spreading the dirt. It goes, I do give you warning, but everyone ignores me. Told you everything loud and clear, but nobody's listening. Uphill struggle, blood, sweat and tears. Nobody's listening. Nothing to gain, everything to fear. Nobody's listening. Coming at you from every side.
What environmental justice means to me is the right to breathe clean air, regardless of gender, income, race, where you work at, and where you play, where you pray.
We're fighting the struggle here in this community, but it's affecting everybody in the planet.
These people that live here don't deserve this, but obviously someone else, some higher up executive decided that, because they have the money and because they have the will and they have the need, that they're just gonna come into these people's environment and just rip it up and destroy it.
I just think it's really lame that they just kind of sweep everything under the rug all the time.
How much money is worth our health?
We're fighting the struggle here in this community, but it's affecting everybody in the planet.
Being able to just live where you're at and know that even though there's all kinds of other problems, the air that you're breathing is clean and the water that you're drinking is clean, and the school that your child is going to is in a safe place where they're not like heavily impacted with like chemicals and stuff, That's environmental justice to me.
Here in the South Bay, some of the major polluters are the ports with the tanker loading and unloading. In fact, the nitrogen oxides, which is a precursor to smog, emitted from this tanker loading and unloading activity is more than all of the cars in Los Angeles County.
It's just huge. You have diesel-powered ships, diesel-powered rail, diesel-powered trucks that produce just an enormous amount of pollution, greenhouse gases and other forms of pollution that affects the people who live in this area, in the South Harbor area.
In fact, some of the surveys that we've been doing, the preliminary results find that the rate of asthma amongst children in this area is about twice that of children in Los Angeles County or nationally.
Right now we're in front of ConocoPhillips refinery. It's one of the major oil refineries here in the community of Wilmington.
And this refinery is right at the fence line where people live, where children play, and where people try to live out their daily lives.
It's about 53,000 residents. I believe it's 84% of the residents here are of Hispanic and Latino background.
The quality of air, the dust, the diesel that comes in and out of here through the trucks.
We have a 24-hour oil rig in here, okay? All our block right here is being consumed of it. We're breathing it, we're living it, literally choking on it.
When they do a flaring incident, when they're burning the gases, the excess gases off, which they're only supposed to do when there's an emergency, but a lot of times, because it's cheaper, they'll just burn it anyway, they'll flare it anyway. That puts tens of additional tons, we think of tons, that's 2,000 pounds into the air.
Considering the fact that there's 4 major refineries in this area, it does have some type of a cumulative impact of these community members that are living on the fence line.
It's not an inconvenient truth, it's a deadly truth, because just from air quality alone, about 3,000 people die in the Los Angeles area due to poor air quality every single year.
And we've been living here for almost 30 years. I mean, my goodness, all the dust, all the dirt. I'm holding my bathroom fan
okay, and it's full of dust. And this is what I'm concerned too. What am I breathing?
They're kind of sandwiched between two major sources of pollution: the traffic from the trucks that go in and out of the port on a daily basis, and then emissions on a daily basis that are from the refinery behind us.
I've lived here almost 17 years. Every time we turn around, I've got hair coming out. I've got headaches all the time. My sinuses go crazy.
We double clean. Our houses have residue inside. Now that's wrong.
Before they got here, we were able to live our lives good. We had everything going good, but, you know, sure I get concerned with my children's health and stuff, but when it comes down to my wife, maybe losing her, then my whole life changes. You know, what happens to her? They don't care. I mention it. They keep doing what they're doing. Doesn't stop.
They need to look at these areas as toxic hotspots, as environmental justice communities, and treat them as environmental justice communities, and not allow more sources of pollution to come into these areas, because there's a lot of people that are sick, and that's the saddest part about it, is that there's people dying here on a daily basis, and nothing's being done, or little is being done to protect the people in these areas.
Well, some of the worst cases that I've heard is obviously lung disease, asthma, tumors in the brain, tumors in the stomach and the chest, you know, bronchitis. These are all just the worst things that I've heard. And I think that the thing that is most common in the symptoms in the community is probably sinus problems and allergy problems and nosebleeds.
But when they have these exacerbations of their respiratory illnesses, they're more likely to be absent from school. These are kids who already have less resources in their school systems. And if they have to miss school on top of that, there's potential long-term effects in terms of not only their academic performance, but then later on in life, their career success, professional success, and ability to survive in society.
One of the scary statistics that we hear all the time is how much these refineries are making. You know, they're making record profits quarterly in the billions, and I think they could be doing more to protect the neighborhoods they're in. As a good neighbor, you know, there should be an incentive for residents that are living on there, that are feeling the brunt of all the pollution and the air toxins in this area. You know, there should be more communication between the refineries and the residents that live here. The refineries should do more, you know, out of the pocket, pay for a lot of, you know, necessities that people live here, you know, that they need, that people that live here, you know, like, you know, filtration systems, you know, double pane windows. A lot of people here don't have those, you know, necessities, essential necessities.
And we think there should be a real sense of corporate responsibility. But in our experience, if you want corporate responsibility, you got to make them do it. They never do it on their own. They only do it when they're compelled to do so by an activated and aroused public.
Communities for a Better Environment is a nonprofit environmental justice organization. One of our main goals is obviously to go out into the neighborhoods and to educate folks about, you know, the problems that we see out here in the neighborhoods.
Our organizers are here every day talking to them, helping them to get informed and involved so that they can affect the decisions that are affecting the lives and health of them and their children.
What I'm doing as a community organizer is getting out in the community, to the schools, to the churches, and trying to inform them about the consequences of having a new source of pollution in the community.
We can't match the hundreds of billions of dollars that the oil industry has, for example, or the power industry. But what we do have is the support from people who live in these communities. We knock on their doors, we go to their churches, we go where they live, work, and play.
Their organization works in 3 parts. So it's like the legal department, the analysis department, and then they have grassroots organizing, which is where the youth comes in. And our program is called Youth for Environmental Justice. Well, the main thing we do is go out into the community. Pretty much we go out and we just educate about, you know, the environmental injustices that are going on right here in Southeast LA.
I've been involved with CBE for almost 2 years now. This is real, you know, this is it. And it's not what's shown, so it's just, I feel like it's my duty as somebody like who lives here to just get the word out and help.
Obviously this is something that's hidden and people need to be exposed to this and realize that, you know, we can make change if we really want to. It needs more people to be involved and support the kind of work that we do.
You cannot put more pollution into a community that's already overburdened. That's how we do it. We get people involved, which is the tradition and history of this country. That's the civil rights tradition, that's the farm worker tradition, that's the women's suffrage movement tradition, is that the people themselves get involved and they can make change.
I feel like we're at a turning point where there's a lot of issues coming to a head, for example, global warming. And if we as a society decide that we are going to clean up the environment, then I think that there's a lot of improvement that can be made.
Because it's not just a story of suffering and victimization, it's also a really wonderful story of resistance, of fighting for democracy, of fighting to improve public health. Because when the folks over here stop the flaring, that improves the air quality for everyone in the Los Angeles area, because that pollution doesn't just stay over Wilmington, it blows all over the region. So when they're fighting here, it helps everyone.
It's like you got to take it past just talking about it. You got to take it past just sitting around thinking about it. You got to actually go out and do something about it, you know? Because there's things you can do. There's people you can talk to and get in touch with, you know? And you got to take advantage of that and go out there and do it.
And so we're hoping that a lot of the things that we're doing on the local level here would reflect other communities that are also undergoing a lot of these problems. Communities like, you know, in Louisiana, in Texas, where there's a lot of sources of pollution, including a lot of refineries, deal with the same problems we deal day in and day out. It's the time, I think, where people need to start waking up and figure out, you know, what's going on. People have a voice, and I think people are entitled to be able to talk about the different issues that affect them. Not only that, to be able to have a voice to make things change.